Hey, Yvette.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Ah,
I decided not to whisper in here.
don't know either.
Like, I can hear you anywhere. I don't think it's your voice. Ask me to that clock. You should be. I don't know why she's doing it. See your hand? What hand? Got a bagel?
No. They cut a tendon
Ooh. Oh, that's
because of
right.
the shot didn't work, so they cut a tendon last night. Pain was so bad
Oh,
today.
keep it elevated. Did they give you another one?
Percocet. I took one. Today I didn't need it.
And that's.
I'm able to, I'm almost got full. As soon as the bandage is off, I think I might be able to make it through. But it hurts.
Yeah, it won't bend. I'll probably need to put you in. Whatever floats their boat. Well, I hope it heals quickly and feels better.
Okay. Batter up.
It doesn't play us. The league championship series. Better. Or we can say tip off, but I think it's quite
We'll be here next week.
Okay. All right. Thank you for letting me know. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Agudath Israel Etz Ahayem Synagogue here in Montgomery, Alabama. I am Rabbi Scott Kramer. Welcome to our Kabbalat Shabbat. I'm so glad that you are here, and we have those in person and online, so welcome to all. We will start our service with Lechuna Ranana. As soon as I get the page, I will tell you. I should know. Page 11. Thank you, David. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladunai. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladunai. Naria, Naria, Letzor Yeshenu, Nekadma Fana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Letzor Yeshenu, Bizmirot Naria Lo. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladunai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladunai. Naria, Naria, Letzor Yeshenu, Nekadma Fana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Letzor Yeshenu, Bizmirot Naria Lo. We continue responsively in the English. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector, filled with thanks. Let us greet God, raising our voice in song.
Great is Adonai. God's hands form the earth's feet, mountain crests to our God's work. The sea is God, for God fashioned by God's hands.
Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai who formed us.
Sheep in God's caring hand.
If only you would listen today to God's voice, not become hard-hearted like the people at the Merivah, like the time at Massah, in the desert when your ancestors tried me and tested me, though they had seen what I had wrought.
Years I was troubled by that generation, and I said, these are a people whose hearts have gone astray. They do not know my way. So in anger I swore they would not enter my rest.
40 שנה כות בדור ואומרם טועה לבבם והם לא ידעו דרכי אשר נשבעתי באפי אם יבואון אל מנוחתי. Page 13. השירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, Basru me'om le'om Yeshuato, Sapru v'agoyim kevodo, Bechol ha'amim nifliotav, Ki gadol Adonai, O mehulal miyod, no rahu, Alko Elohim, lai lai lai, Kiko Elohe Amim Elilin, Vadonai Shamayim Asa, Had v'hadar lefanav, Oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho, Havu l'Adonai mishpachot amim, Havu l'Adonai kavod v'oz, Havu l'Adonai ke'evod shemo, Seu mincha, Uvahu l'chatzerot of lai lai lai, Shtachavu l'Adonai, Behadrat Kodesh, Chilu mipanav kol haaretz, Imu v'agoyim, Adonai malach, Aftikon tevel balatimot, Yadina hamim b'meisharim, Yismechu hashamayim v'tagil haaretz, Ha'ir hamayamu melo, Yalo sadai, V'chol asher bo lai lai lai, Az yiranenu kol hatziyar, Lifnei Adonai kiva, Kiva lishpot haaretz, Yishpot tevel b'tzedek, V'yamim b'emunato, Yalai la lai lai, Yai la 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 lai, Yai lai lai lai, Yalai la lai la lai, Lai 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 lai, Yai lai 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 lai, Yai lai lai lai. Page 15, Psalm 97. Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, the many distant lands rejoice.
Righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about.
Flashes of lightning illumine the land, the earth watches and trembles, mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the master of all the earth. Worshippers of idols, be shamed for praising false gods. All that is deemed supreme, bow before God. You, Adonai, are above all that is earthly, exalted over all that is worshipped as divine.
Saving them from the hands of the sinner.
Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name. Or zaru latzadik v'l'Yisrael ev simcha, simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, v'hodu l'zecher kadesho. Page 17, Psalm 98. Amizmor shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, ki niflot asa, Hoshia lo yemino, Uzaro Wahakocho Adia Adonai Yeshuato Le'enogim Gilad Tzidkato Zachar Chasto Ve'emunato Leveit Yisrael Ra'u Cholav Se'aretz Et Yeshuat Eloheinu Horiu Ladonai Kol Haaretz Bitchum Veranenu V'zameru Zamru Ladonai Bechinar V'kol Zimera V'chatzot Tzrot V'kol Shofar Horiu Lifnei HaMelech Adonai Yiramayam Umaloho Tevel V'yoshveva Neharot Yimchau Chaf Yachad Harim Yiranenu Lifnei Adonai Kiva Lishbot Haaretz Yishbot Tevel B'tzedek V'yamim B'meisharim Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 lai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 Yalai lalai 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 lai Yai lai 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 lai. Page 19, Psalm 99. Adonai reigns, nations tremble. The one enthroned amidst the cherubim makes the world quake. A sovereign strength lies in the love of justice, and you forge the paths of truth, judging Jacob righteously and justly. Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name, called to you, and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the cloud. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai, our God. You were a forgiving God to them, even as you punished them for their transgressions. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lahar kadisho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. We rise, if you're able, page 21, Psalm 29. Mizmor leDavid, havu ladonai b'nei Elim, havu ladonai kavod vos, havu ladonai kavod shemo, ishtachavu ladonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim, el kavod hirim Adonai omayim rabim, kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et alzei halvanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel, Lebanon v'Sirion kemo vendrehemim, Kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholeo ayalot, vayechesab yarod, uvehechalo kulo merkavod. Adonai lamabul yashav, yeshav Adonai melech leolam. Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yivorech et amo v'shalom. You may be seated. Sorry about the cam. We continue, page 23. Lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmianu elam yuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'liti la lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך, תודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך ההפכה, רב לך שבט בימך הבכה, והוא יחמו עלייך חמלה לך, דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי, היד בן ישי בית הלחמי, קרבה אל נפשי גאלה לך, דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורי קומי אורי, אורי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, לא תבושי ולא תקמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי בך, יחסו אני עמי ונבנתה עיר אל תילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, והיו למשיסה שעשייך ורחקו כל מבלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כי עמך חתן על כלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי, היד איש בן פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. We rise if you are able. Last stanza of Lechadudi, page 25. We face towards the west to greet the Shabbat bride. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. You may be seated. We continue with Psalm 92, page 27. A psalm, the song of the day of Shabbat. It is good to thank you, Adonai, and sing to your name most high, to proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. You gladden me with your deeds, Adonai, and I shall sing of your handiwork. The arrogant do not understand, the fool does not comprehend this. The wicked flourish like grass, and every evildoer blossoms only to be destroyed forever. Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies will perish. All who commit evil will be scattered. As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear. In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no flaw. Tzaddik tamar yifrach, ke'erez balvanon yiske, shetulim beveit Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Oh, yenuvut beseva דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד, כי ישר אדוני צורי, ולא עוולתו בו. Page 29. Adonai is sovereign, robed in splendor, girded in strength. The earth stands firm, not to be dislodged. From earliest time, you were enthroned, you are eternal. In your house, beautiful in its holiness, your testimonies endure, Adonai, for all time. So again, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to everyone. We have, it's nice to see we have a healthy crowd in our sanctuary. It's one of the reasons why I fail to sometimes look at where my cam is, because I'm looking at all these beautiful people in our sanctuary. You said, and you can join them. Those that are in town, you can join all these lovely, beautiful people. So for those that are unfamiliar with Jewish worship, that may actually include some of the people online, I want to point out a couple of features that you might be interested. The first is the direction of our prayer book you're holding. It is read from right to left, the way Hebrew is written. All ancient writing was written right to left, not just Hebrew. There are technical reasons for this, but beyond the scope of this talk. The second feature is how and when we read the Jewish Bible, the Torah. The Torah is read 4 times a week, on Monday and Thursday evenings, at a time in the ancient world that was reserved as market days, a day when whole communities would get together to exact commerce and therefore be available for Bible study and prayer. The other 2 times the Torah is read is Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon. Saturdays is the day set aside in the Torah, is the day of rest. A day that we emulate God, who rested on the 7th day from all of his or her labors. Being a day of work cessation, this is a perfect time for spiritual matters and for refreshing the soul. Each week in synagogues all over the world, the same sections of the Torah are read chronologically until the entire book is completed. Last week, as the holiday of Sukkot ended, we completed a cycle of Torah readings at the holiday of Simchat Torah. Today is the first Shabbat after Simchat Torah, and an occasion to begin the cycle of reading with Genesis 1:1. And I may also point out that the conservative movement uses a triennial system. They take each portion and divide it into thirds, and each week, that entire year, we're on that particular third. Last year, we were in the last third. That means this year, we begin the triennial with the first third. So we indeed do read from Genesis 1:1. While some maintain that the human being is only physical form, the Torah, in one of its most important sentences, insists that every person is also created B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of God. This comes from the first chapter of Genesis, verse 26 and 27. On the surface, we see each other's outward appearance, but if we look deeply, we ought to be able to perceive a little bit of God in our fellow human being. In fact, it is the Tselem Elohim which makes the human being unique. In the words of Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our ancestors, Beloved is the human being who was created in the image of God. Several fundamental ideas emerge from this concept of B'Tselem Elohim, bearing in mind that each and every human being is created with Tselem Elohim. It follows that all people, regardless of race, religion, nationality, age, mental faculties, handicap, etc., are of equal value. Human beings can relate to God vertically and horizontally, in the sense that we have the capacity to reach upwards to an all-powerful God through prayer and ritual. We relate vertically. Additionally, when we relate to our fellow person, our fellow human being, we connect to that part of God in them. If one hurts another human being, God is hurt. Similarly, if one brings joy to another, God is more joyous. Hence, a horizontal relationship exists as well. Even if a person holds him or herself in low esteem, he or she ought to have self-confidence. After all, God is in each of us. God, as the ultimate creator, has given us the capacity to be endlessly creative, lending an important ingredient to our self-esteem. As God is omnipresent, so too people created in the image of God have the inner desire to reach beyond themselves and be present as much as possible. We accomplish this by developing lasting relationships with one another. In that sense, one's presence is expanded. Similarly, as God is eternal, we, created in the image of God, have the instinctual need to transcend ourselves. This need is met by raising children. Unlike animals, human beings are uniquely aware of historic continuity. The image of God points to life after death. As God lives forever, so too does the part of God in us, our soul, live beyond our physical limited years on this earth. Of course, it must be remembered that Tselem Elohim, the image of God in each of us, does not mean that every human being is automatically good. Note that the words ki tov, so it was good, found after every stage of creation, are not recorded after the human being is formed. This is because the image of God is about potential. If properly nurtured, it takes us to sublime heights. If abused, it can sink us to the lowest depths. Whether we are tov, good, depends on the way we live our lives. It is not endowed at birth. And the mystics add that when we live our lives properly, the image of God in each of us merges with the omnipresent God to become one, echad. The Tselem Elohim is an eternal spark that is in with each person, and whether it is lit is completely up to us. That spark is ever palpably present and visible at Jewish life cycle events. And I have been at places in the world. In particular, I visited the community in Novosibirsk in Siberia, and I got to connect with 60 Jewish young people from very remote parts of Siberia. Some of these kids traveled by train 10 hours to get there. And I was able to detect that divine spark in each one of those kids. And I left them with the idea that they should take each of their individual sparks and connect them together to become a light unto the world and unto themselves. So let us recognize our own divine spark that is in each one of us, and let us make that a reason to treat each other with respect. Shabbat shalom. We will continue, our service with Ma'ariv. Ask everyone to please rise, page 39a, for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Avoed. You may be seated. Baruch Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, and whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, and who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzivaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. Umahavir yom umevi laila, mavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai Tzivaot Shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch alein l'olam v'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim, page 40. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amchavta, Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shareinu v'kumeinu nesiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha uv'mitzvotecha le'olam v'oed. Ki em chayenu v'orech yameinu Uvahem nege yomam v'layla ve'avatacha tasim mimenu la'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ho'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinanatam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shachpecha v'kumecha Ukshartam neot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot peninecha, uchtabdam nam zuzot beitecha, uvish arecha, v'haya'im shemo tishma'u yom etzotai. V'charfet Adonai b'chem v'zayis. V'samtem et dvarai le'levavchem v'yam nafshechem u'kshartam odam. L'man yirbu yemechem v'imei v'nechem ha'adama asher nishba Adonai levatechem l'teit lehem kimei hashemayim al haaretz. V'yomer Adonai el Moshe lemor daber el b'nei Yisrael v'yamarta lehem v'yasu lehem tzitzit Al kanfe vigdem ledoratam v'natnu al tzitzit takana petiot techelet v'hayalachem letzitzit oritem ot schaitem et kol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam v'lo tatu acharei levavchem v'acharei nechem asher tem zonim acharehem, leman dizgaru v'asitem net kol mitzvotai, v'item kedoshim leloechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher otzeiti etachem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet, page 43a. This is our enduring affirmation binding on us that Adonai is our God and there is none other, that we, Israel, are God's people. God is our sovereign, redeeming us from earthly rulers, delivering us from the hand of all tyrants, bringing judgment upon our oppressors, and just retribution upon all our mortal enemies, performing wonders beyond understanding and marvels beyond all reckoning. God places us among the living, not allowing our steps to falter, and leads us past the false altars of our enemies, exalting us above all those who hate us. Adonai avenged us with miracles before Pharaoh offered signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. God brought Israel from its midst to lasting freedom and led them through divided waters of the Sea of Reeds. As their pursuers and enemies drowned in the depths, God's children beheld the power of the divine. They praised and acknowledged God's name. Page 44. U'malchuto b'ratzon kibalehem Moshe u'bnei Yisrael hanishira b'simcha rabba v'yamaru chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedor b'kodesh nora tehilot o seifele malchut raru v'nechabu kiyam lifnei Moshe zeli anu v'yamaru Adonai yimloch leolam voed v'nemar kifad Adonai et Yaakov ugalod min chazak mimenu baruch et Adonai ka'al Yisrael. Page 45. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom. Ushmatzeitenu vein l'chaim ushlamiyata v'yalolam u'prosalenu sukat shlemecha baruch et Adonai haporet sukat shalom aleinu v'yal kol amo Yisrael v'yal Yerushalayim. We rise, page 46. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Uvayomer shvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. We now pray the silent Amidah, pages 47 through 52. And we rise as the ark is open for Aleinu, page 56. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol latet gdula liotzer bereshit shalo asan kagoyei aratzot v'lo samanu kamishmachot hadama shalo sam chelkenu kahem v'goraleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, She'onotei Shamayim v'yosed haaretz, u'moshev yikaro b'shamayim imah, u'shchinatu zo, b'gavei meramim, Hu Eloheinu ein od, emet malkeinu evazulato, kakatu b'torato, V'yadata hayom v'hashivota el bavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim mimal v'yal haaretz mitachat ein od al kenikol Eloheinu li'olam. Gagadu b'doratech Adonai mloch le'olam v'oed v'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh U'shemo This week, we will observe yard sites for Bertha G. Silverman, Alex Lipton, Mo Rosenberg, Jacob Koppel-Froelich, Chaya Sarah Goldberg, Joseph Piha, Koppel-Froelich, Sherwin Ginsberg, Sue Hannon, Rita Rosenthal, Nadine Sharker, Nami Sharker, Isaac Tepich, Jake Aronoff, Isaac J. Hassan, Regina Labato, Jacob Schulman, and Sarah Kamhi Hassan. Those observing yahrzeit, and those who mourn, please rise and join me for the Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish, page 58. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabbah, v'yomad divrach chirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yamechon, v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agalav izman kari v'maru amen, yehi shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam melmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, shmei kudisha b'richu, Leilam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran v'yama v'maru amen, yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'maru amen, oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'maru amen. You may be seated. Thank you all for joining me, for joining us for Kabbalat Shabbat. Be back tomorrow morning at 9:30. Tomorrow morning, we are going to celebrate an ufruf, a calling up to the Torah, of two people that are going to be married in the coming weeks. In fact, tomorrow night. Spencer Goldstein and Kristen Paulson will be called to the Torah tomorrow, along with their family will be here. Some people that traveled all the way from Iceland to be here. I've never met any Icelanders, so that's going to be kind of fascinating. By the way, that Spencer is Lisa Goldstein's son. Lisa Goldstein is a sister of Linda Tappett and Bobby Siegel. Okay. And so the whole family will be here. Tomorrow morning, you might want to come and join in the fun. Monday and Thursday, we'll have our regular, whatever regular is. We don't know what regular is because we haven't had regular. Monday and Thursday, minions at 7:15 with breakfast following. Actually, we're not going to have breakfast following next 2 weeks, because Jerome is on vacation. I forgot completely about that, unless one of you wants to come in and make breakfast. So, but we will have services anyway. Is that funny? Okay. Oh. Guess we got 2 volunteers. Okay, great. With that, I'm going to wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom. We will end our service, page 211. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'ed nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra, azai melech shemo nikra, v'yacharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora, v'hu haya v'hu hoveh, v'hu yiyeh b'tifara, v'hu yiyeh b'tifara, v'hu echad v'yein sheni l'am shelo lehachbira, b'li reshit b'li tachlit, v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra, v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra, v'hu eli v'chai go'ali v'tzor chevli b'yetzara, v'hu nisi umanosli menat kosi b'yom mekra, menat kosi b'yom mekra, b'yado afkid ruchi b'yet ishan v'yaira, v'immeruchi kiviyati, Adonai li v'lo ira, Adonai li v'lo ira. Shabbat Shalom.